Hello and welcome to Pro Trader Strategies Market Commentary for Tuesday, May the 7th. My name's Eric Wilkinson. Some of you may recognize me as the Wolfman from CNBC, Fox Business, or even the Wall Street Journal. I'm here to teach you some different strategies that you can implement into your portfolios, but please do that in your own way. Also, remember, past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, we got that out of the way. Let's get it on with some economic data. Across the pond, not really a whole lot to see there. It's a pretty quiet week for the most part. We do have JOLTS job openings coming in at 7.49 million hires, that or openings for jobs. I should say those aren't hires, but those are openings. And then we also got the IBD tip economic optimism index, and it came in at 58.6, expected to be 54.5. So that is better than expected, above 50, all of those things being good. We also have Quarles speaking later on today, who is an FOMC member. Probably going to talk about interest rates now that he can. All right, let's talk about the overall markets without further ado. We've got crude oil coming off by almost $1 right now, down about 90 cents after yesterday's decent rally, but it did come up against the Fibonacci area, this $63 I've been talking about that I've said is going to act as support and resistance as it has in the past. It's doing it again today. As we can see here. So let's pull up my marker here and we'll throw it in over here. As you can see, when we were talking about with this support and resistance, that this 63 area is acting as a nice support area. After it acted as resistance on the way up, we hit it, kind of popped out. Then once we got above it, as we come down, it finds support in several places. Here, and here. Now that we've gotten below it, trying to find that support or hitting that support resistance line right there at $63 a barrel. So that is a major line in the sand, as we can see on several places throughout this area here. So $63 is your key, whether the bulls and the bears are winning here. Some people also could say that if I went back to this here, we have somewhat of a head and shoulders going on here with the neckline right there and one shoulder here. We've got the head here. He's not so happy. And then the other shoulder here. So that is a bearish move to the downside as well. So looks like crude oil is going to continue down, test that $60 handle again. And then as you can see here, it tested it yesterday. That acted as a psychological level, right? We don't have a Fibonacci. We don't have any other trend lines there, but that $60 a barrel is always going to act as a support and resistance just because it's in our head, okay? So we found that as a bit of support here, but I do expect it to break that 60 and at least come down and test this area here for crude oil. We've been seeing those builds happen. I don't really see any change. We should be getting out some crude oil inventory numbers tomorrow as well. So that'll be a real determining factor as well. Then we've got the gold futures. They're moving higher, and really the only thing that's keeping them away from 1,300 is absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, this market looks like it wants to cruise up to that level of 1,300. Let me get my chart back together here. Looks like it really wants to come back up at least to the 1295. Again, there's nothing there at 1300, but it is a psychological level that you can see as I have my little line here that it's kind of come up against that area several times. So I think it's definitely coming back to the point of control, which is right there at 1290, right around 1295, let's call it. And then we've got bonds moving higher by 21 ticks, almost, well, 12 or 11 ticks shy of a full point, right? This value area high acting as resistance up here, that is because anytime we get out up and above this area, it is just way overextended. You can see we got a lot of volume going on in and around this area. So once we hit those value area highs, that starts acting as resistance because that's just where the weaker hands will start to cover. Those aren't going to be the longer term traders, but that will cause that market to kind of slow down just a little bit, all right? And then we go over to the VIX. We've got VIX up into the 19s. Looking at that 20, it eyeballed it this morning when we started seeing some really aggressive selling off the open. I was talking about this on Twitter. I think that was really to try and cover a gap from yesterday. But you can see Dow Jones Industrial Average down almost 400 points right now. It's going to be 400 points probably by the time I'm done talking here. We did see a nice little bit of a rally going on here about probably 30 minutes ago, and I was talking about it. I think those bottoms were in, especially in the E-mini S&Ps. We'll have to see if they've been taken out at this point. This 50-day moving average not acting very much like a support here, as you can see. It's really a product of the market wants to come back down into this value area here. I think the market is strong enough to continue a move higher as my, I'm talking my position, you guys, too. I'm bullish. I have overall longs in my portfolio. It is, if you beta weight it to the SPY, I am seriously long. So I'm expecting this market to kind of move higher. I don't think the economy is as bad as everybody is talking about. I really don't think these tariffs are going to go through. I think that this Chinese delegation that's coming over to talk to Trump, they'll figure something out. And these 25% tariffs are not going to go in. They might still keep those 10% tariffs, but I don't think that the 25% tariffs are going to stick. All right. NASDAQ cruising to the downside, down 144 points. We were down big yesterday and had that late day rally, almost throughout the day. The final few candles were really bearish, though. That was the weak hands really trying to cover, but then we're getting some follow through today. So I was expecting this market to start moving higher late in the day based on the 15-minute charts that I was looking at and some of the market profile on the daily charts, which we'll get to here in a minute. As you can see with the E-mini S&Ps, they have taken out yesterday's low. So this has just happened since I basically have come on. I think the low from yesterday was 28.84 and a half-ish. Actually, why don't we just check it out? The low was 83 and a half. So we've taken out that low. That is important because that was the overnight of yesterday, and that was this mark right here. So I was talking on Twitter when we came down, made this low of, 84 and a quarter. I was like, that's pretty close for government work, taking out this low of 83 and a half. Now we've taken that market out, all right? We've taken this low out from the overnight session. The day session always wants to print those throughout the day. For instance, this is a historical high in the E-mini S&Ps, but that happened overnight. So we expect that to be taken out. I do have a long-term goal of the 3,000, that psychological level, and that would take that out, obviously. But now that we've taken this out, I think that we can turn those hands around. This is a good, actually, trade location to enter a trade. Right now, we are extended to the downside. You can see that if I didn't have this, these little numbers here are getting really thin. That means that we aren't really accepting price there. The volumes are going to start to lighten up a little bit here as that selling pressure ebbs a little bit, and we should see a little bit of a turnaround here. So that's what I was expecting. We've taken out this area right there and printed a new low. So that, in my eyes, doesn't seem like there's a lot of acceptance going on here. I think we're going to start to move a little bit higher throughout the rest of the day. That's what I'm playing for. As a matter of fact, I don't talk about my E-mini S&P trades very often, but I am long these E-mini S&Ps at 85, and I have a stop at 80. So I am looking for this market to hold this area and rebound back up. I'm going to probably look to cover this right here at the 29.05 area, which is this value area low. So expecting this market to turn around and come back up. Like I said, the stop is at 28.80. So not a recommendation. I usually only talk about my options trades, but I'm doing a webinar today, this afternoon. You guys should check it out. It's at Tiger Shark Trading. I'll tweet out a link with this video. And that being said, it is all about how to look at the market profile and trade against it. So keep your eyes out for that later this afternoon. I'm going to be doing that at 1 o'clock Pacific and 4 o'clock Eastern. So find me there. I'm going to be talking all about market profile and how to trade it. So I'm expecting this market to come back. like I said, now that we've taken out the overnight lows in both the NASDAQ, the Dow, well, the Dow didn't have the overnight lows on that index, and the E-mini S&Ps. But pretty much all of them have printed the overnight lows, and I would expect this market to turn around. I don't know if I can say that enough, right? All right, Google. You guys all know I got caught with Google, and I am long Google at 1,200. So if you remember on this earnings here, this binary event looked pretty good. They actually beat on earnings with this number here, but that was with a bunch of revisions. They actually missed by $1, caused this market to come down. I'm long it at 1,200, so right around in here is where I am long Google. And I haven't added anything to it. Usually I will sell some calls against it. I thought we were going to get more of a rebound here. So now today I went in and sold the 1,300 puts, and I collected $3 for those. So I collected $3 on that. That collection lowers my break even. Now my break even on Google is minus the $3. I'm at $11.97 is my break even. So I'm going to continue to do this with I said puts here. These are calls. I don't know why I said puts. I sold the 1,300 calls in there for $3. Sorry about that confusion. And that is in the June. So I sold the June 1,300 calls and for $3. That lowers my break even to $11.97. It's not a huge reduction in break even, but if I continue to do this over and over and over, I can continue to lower my break even, right? So that being said, I've got those 1,300 calls. I'll be happy to get out if the market rallies up in the next 45 days to that 1,300 area. Sorry, I just lost my pen. And you know, that's how we stay mechanical with these trades. Yes, it is a loser right now, but if I can continue to lower the break even, I increase my probabilities of success. All right, so that's what I'm trying to do with Google. Haven't added anything else right now at this point, but keeping my eye on the equities as I expect this market to start to move higher. There are a couple of things out there like that head and shoulders that I talked about for markets that are going to be looking a little bit bearish, but I am keeping an eye on everything diligently today. All right, that's all I got for you, other than check out that webinar that I was talking about later this afternoon. If you want to learn how to trade around this market profile, you know, I expect this market, if we can get up above this 1,200 area, this market could really just start skyrocketing quickly as we blow through this area of unacceptance and back up to this point of control for the time. This has not been where the volume has been spent. You can see the volume. There's a lot of volume down here where people are buying Google. All right, that's being accepted at these levels. So that is a bullish indication that people are scooping up Google right now. All right. So check it out. Go to ProTraderStrategies.com or Tiger Shark Trading. Sign up for the webinar. It's a free one. So check it out. I'll be giving away some offers and things like that for those people that are attending. So I hope you can make it. Love to see you there. Love to hear the feedback too. All right. If you can't take that, take it easy.